The Indiana Fever front office walked into this offseason with 4 non-negotiables. Keep their all-star backcourt together at all costs. Add real size up front so teams cannot just bully them in the paint. Load the wings with players who can score and guard at the same time, and find a backup guard who does not make you nervous every time Caitlin Clark sits down. We have 15 free agents who have indicated they want to play with Caitlin Clark in the Indiana Fever, plus 2 surprise names you did not see coming. We are going to show exactly why this roster, if it comes together, is built to go all the way to a championship in 2026. Who do you think the Indiana Fever should sign in free agency? Let me know in the comments below. So, the Fever went into this offseason with a very specific plan, and every move traces back to one problem from 2025. Teams figured out that if you make Caitlin Clark's life physically miserable, you slow down the whole offense. Kelly Krakoff, Amber Cox, and Stephanie White drew up 4 non-negotiables. Resign the backcourt. Add real size up front. Put wings out there who can score and guard. And find a backup guard who does not panic the second Clark sits down. Right now, only 3 players are under contract: Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and Michaela Timpson. Indiana has roughly $5.6 million in cap space left to get everyone else. Caitlin Clark flat out called reigning Kelsey Mitchell the Fever's first priority, and she did not dress it up either. Clark said that Mitchell makes it real easy for her, which is a star player basically telling her front office not to mess this up. They are not messing it up, and they are using the core designation to lock Mitchell in before she ever hits the open market. Under the new collective bargaining agreement, she could command supermax money and other teams would line up fast. Without Mitchell, Clark would lose her primary running mate. Defenses would have only one guard to game plan around, and the whole offense would get harder to run every single night. Number 2 on our list is Azora Stevens, a 6'6" forward from the Los Angeles Sparks. And she didn't exactly keep her interest in Indiana quiet. Stevens reposted a photo of herself in a Fever jersey on Instagram, and that's not something players do by accident. What makes her such a good fit is that she doesn't need to camp in the post to be effective. She can step out and hit threes, switch onto guards and pick and roll coverage, and she's comfortable running in transition, so she slots right alongside Boston without the 2 of them crowding the same spots. Teams that go small against Indiana to neutralize Boston suddenly face 2 bigs who punish that from completely different areas. Atlanta Smith already knows where the coffee machine is. She played for Indiana before heading to Minnesota, and the Fever did not part ways with her because she failed. They just ran out of cap room. With the Lynx, Smith earned late-game minutes from a coaching staff that does not hand those out for free. So that tells you exactly where her game is at right now. The bigger deal is what she fixes on offense. Teams were sending extra bodies at Clark in pick-and-roll coverage because Indiana's power forward spot was not scary enough to stop them. Smith sets screens, relocates to the corner, and attacks closeouts, which opens driving lanes for Mitchell and pull-up looks for Clark. Not to mention, she is the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, which will help relieve pressure from Aaliyah Boston when matching up against the league's biggest post players. Nneka Umik won a WNBA championship, earned multiple All-Star nods, and spent 2025 with Seattle, proving she can still score in the post, defend multiple positions, and hold a locker room together through a grinding season. The Fever haven't had that kind of veteran presence before, and it shows. Putting her alongside Boston sounds crowded on paper, but it actually isn't because Agu Mike handles the ball in the short roll and plays out to the perimeter. So, the 2 of them don't compete for the same spots. Our teams that already struggle to account for Clark and Mitchell now have to find a third defender capable of stopping a post-scorer. Brianna Jones is not going to show up on anyone's highlight reel, and that is exactly why championship teams go get her. She spent 2025 with Atlanta boxing out hard, denying post position, and finishing around the rim at a percentage that makes her more than just a body taking up space in the paint. And with Angel Reed moving to Atlanta, that gives Jones all the incentive to move on to Indiana. What she does for Indiana is free Aaliyah Boston up to do what she is actually great at, scoring and blocking shots, because Jones handles the dirty work, offensive boards, hard screens, and defending the roll man. In terms of the salary cap, Jones probably does not cost star money. And so Indiana can add her without killing their flexibility for the bigger names still on this list. Satu Sabali is 6'4". She can guard 1 through 4, and she put up scoring numbers with Phoenix in 2025 that make her one of the most wanted wings in free agency right now. She creates off the bounce, hits three-point shots off movement, and she's totally comfortable being the second or third option, which matters because Clark and Mitchell aren't giving up those ball-handling reps to anyone. The defensive fit is what really gets Indiana excited, because the Fever got attacked on the wing in their playoff exit by guards who could drive and finish. Sabali guards that type. Defenses already stretched thin by Clark simply can't account for a wing dropping 15 points or more on top of everything else. Now, Gabby Williams spent 2025 with Seattle making opposing guards miserable, and the box score does not even fully show it. She is long. She reads passing lanes before the ball moves. And she can switch from a quick 2-guard onto a forward without losing a step. So Stephanie White can basically point her at whoever needs to be stopped that night. The counterintuitive part is what Williams does for Clark specifically. When Indiana has someone who locks down the opponent's best perimeter scorer, Clark does not burn as much energy on defense and arrives at the offensive end fresher. Williams and Agu Mike already built chemistry in Seattle, so landing both players means Indiana gets 2 veterans who already know how to win together. Monique Billings spent 2025 with Golden State playing whatever role the Valkyries needed. And that kind of flexibility is exactly what Indiana's bench has been missing. She rebounds, defends multiple positions, sets screens, rolls hard to the rim, and does not complain about her minutes. The Fever's second unit in 2025 had a bad habit of giving back leads. The starters spent the whole first quarter building, and Billings is the type of player who stops that from happening because she simply does not take possessions off. Cap-wise, she is probably a mid-level signing, so Indiana can add her without touching the money they need for the bigger targets on this list. Ray Burrell put up real numbers in 2025 on a Sparks team that gave her almost no structure to work within. And that actually makes her more interesting, not less, because those numbers came in chaos. And put her in Stephanie White's system with actual spacing and ball movement, and she produces more. Burrell scores off the catch, off the dribble, and off screens, and her three-point shooting is good enough that defenses can't just leave her. She's still developing, so the Fever would be getting a player who improves over the contract, not one already at her ceiling. Opponents can't sag off every corner when every corner is a threat. Sophie Cunningham is the player who makes opposing wings think twice about driving baseline, and the fans absolutely love her for it. She plays with a chip on her shoulder every single night. She gets into ball handlers' bodies, and she does not back down from anyone regardless of the situation or the matchup. Injuries limited her in 2025. But when Cunningham was healthy and in that starting lineup, the Fever's defensive identity changed completely. Her corner three-point shooting is a real weapon too, because defense is already stretched thin by Clark and Mitchell cannot rotate fast enough to close out on her. Keeping Cunningham tells the rest of the league Indiana is not dismantling what is working. Lexi Hull came into this league as a Stanford defender who worked hard and competed every night. And what she has turned into is a starting wing with a three-point shot that teams actually have to respect. That is a different player entirely from the one who first put on a Fever jersey. She is a restricted free agent, so Indiana can match any offer she gets, and they will not have to overpay to do it. Hull can guard quicker wings, guard slower forwards, and does not panic when she gets switched onto someone bigger. And Clark and Hull have built real on-court trust, and that took 2 full seasons to develop. Kelsey Plum is the second all-time leading scorer in NCAA. A women's basketball history right after Caitlin Clark, and she spent 2025 with the Sparks in a situation that wasted most of what she can do. Plum scores from anywhere, draws fouls at a ridiculous rate, and can run an offense by herself when the starters rest, which is exactly the backup guard problem Indiana has been trying to solve. The fit question is real because she has been a primary ball handler her whole career. But Plum has also proven she can score off the catch and work without the ball constantly in her hands. At this point in her career, winning matters more than touches, and Indiana has both. Odyssey Sims has played long enough in this league to recognize every trap, every blitz, and every defensive scheme designed to take the ball out of a guard's hands. That experience does not come from a training camp or a film session. She creates her own shot in the mid-range. She has been in playoff situations and tight games do not rattle her. The honest concern is availability, because injuries have interrupted her career at different points. But when she is healthy, she brings a scoring punch. Most second units simply cannot match. Sims keeps the offense moving when Clark rests. Opponents cannot treat those minutes as a break anymore. Aari McDonald is quick enough to stay in front of almost any guard in the league, and she competes on defense with an intensity that most reserves just do not bring off the bench. When she's on the floor, the opponent's backup guard cannot just walk into their sets, and they have to fight for every catch, and that wears on people over a 40-game season. She also runs the offense at Clark's pace, so Indiana does not have to slow down every time Clark checks out. The honest complication is availability. McDonald dealt with injuries in 2025, and a backup guard spot that is unreliable puts extra mileage directly onto Clark. Kia Nurse played a full season with Chicago in 2025 and barely got mentioned nationally, and that is purely because the Sky were not winning. The Fever's front office watches film, not standings, and her film is good. Nurse handles the ball, shoots off screens, defends multiple perimeter spots, and finds open teammates in transition without forcing anything. She has competed in high-pressure international games with Canada's national team, so playoff basketball will not rattle her. And she does not need the ball to stay involved, which matters a lot when Clark and Mitchell are already running everything. Coming off a rebuilding Chicago roster, she is probably available at a price that does not wreck Indiana's remaining cap space. Now for the two nobody saw coming, Kennedy Carter and Liz Camaige. Carter averaged over 20 points a game in Chicago. She gets to the rim against anyone, and her mid-range is as good as any guard in the league. The reason she is available is friction, plain and simple, with coaches and teammates at previous stops. But Clark's presence changes that whole situation because Carter would not carry the franchise. She would just get open looks while defenses chase Clark everywhere. Camaige is 6'9". She has played overseas for years, and Indiana's $78 million facility is the exact pitch that brings her back. She left because the infrastructure was not there. Now it is. The Fever aren't rebuilding. Clark and Boston are locked in. Mitchell is coming back. And a front office that spent 2 years being reactive is now going out and getting exactly who they want. Every player on this list fills a real gap. Size against physical teams, wing defenders who can guard perimeter scorers, scoring depth so Clark is not carrying everything alone, and guard depth so she is not logging 36 minutes every single night until something breaks down. Who do you think the Indiana Fever should sign in free agency? Let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen. And we will see you in the next one.